Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe. So this is Elf. I think overall this movie is really good, and I would probably give it like a 9 out of 10. Objectively, because I really don't think there are many problems with this movie. I think the world building is really good. Even the parts where they're at the North Pole, I think overall it's like really well done. You see many of the different like animals and stuff like that, which I'm sure if they did like a sequel, they would expand upon how many animals are actually in there. It doesn't really matter though, because that's not really the main focus. I think a lot of like the main characters in terms of like Buddy and his dad, like Walter Hobbs, and Jovi's kind of like okay, like she's the love interest, and she doesn't really do that much during the film. But I'm actually cool with that because it's not really about like a love triangle or like a love drama and stuff like that. It's more about just Buddy trying to save Christmas. So that's just more so for his development in general, and also it kind of gives him a tie to the real world. In a certain sense, and he actually becomes more human because of her. So I just love Buddy's arc and just becoming more of a person overall. I also just love just the idea of Christmas in this universe, because obviously there's different movies where they just do different stuff with it, but overall Christmas, like the elves, every single day, every single day, even during like regular other holidays, while other people 365 days are doing other stuff during their lives, the elves are working on presents every single day for the next Christmas, and I really like that. And then Santa, essentially has like magical powers in this, like other iterations, but he actually has to go more on a technological side, which helps him out so that he can still, which shows a lot of his resolve as a character. It shows that he really is dedicated to giving these kids presents regardless, which I really like. He's really, he kind of reminds me of like some superheroes, what I mean? Like, even though he has a deficit, he's still trying to help people in general. I really like that about him. And I like Walter's arc, where he became more of an understanding person overall, and just like the whole story arc with his family and him starting to accept them and be a better father and stuff like that to his son and his wife. It kind of felt a little rushed at the end, but overall I think it was good. And yeah, this is a good movie. 9 out of 10. Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe. Honestly, this is probably the first time I've ever watched this movie, and it was actually on the second day of December. Now, it's kind of interesting because I actually saw this movie as like somewhat of a weird one, just because of the music and the singing and stuff like that. It kind of reminded me of like a Disney movie, where there's like a couple songs throughout the whole film. It's just kind of not my style. I don't really like stuff like that. And I've gotten through like stuff like Moana, where it's actually overall like I would say a good film. I have to rewatch it though just to make sure, but in general, like I can watch Disney films and try to get through it and stuff like that. And I think objectively a lot of them can hold up if done well. And I would say overall this one was like probably like a 6 out of 10. It wasn't quite what I expected, but I did like the idea of like you have this like darker character, which is Jack, discovering Christmas and just seeing the light side of things, the very like bright, positive side of life and of a holiday and stuff like that, and seeing what he would do with that. Now, of course, he kind of took a negative side of, he was more on the negative side of things, and he actually tried to destroy Christmas. And then he realized how important it actually is, because he started to soften up to it. He's starting to soften up to the world, and that's a very interesting character arc. I feel like it was kind of rushed at the end though, especially like when he got attacked, or like when the people at the Christmas, like in the Christmas realm or whatever, they shot him down when he was in the sleigh, like Santa's sleigh. I felt like after that he started to feel bad, and like when he fell, after he fell, and it's just kind of like I wish that was expanded upon a little bit more. I wish maybe he like he tried again. Maybe he actually saw some of the kids and he felt bad seeing them not have like their presence and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like it was a 180 that just should have been more fleshed out overall. Um, and I like the main female character. I actually forget her name because it's been like some time. I'm not doing this actually on the December 2nd. I'm doing this afterwards. So I'm trying to remember. Like overall, I liked her character and how she was actually made from one of the people in Jack's realm, the Halloween realm, and she actually wanted to be more than just his creation. Her that dude's like Frankenstein, so she felt like a freak, but she wanted to be more so I guess like normal kind of thing, and that's actually the opposite of what Jack wants. So it's kind of like comparing and contrasting both of their ideals, which I really like. Overall, I like the all the people in the Halloween realm. Um, you know, and they really all supported Jack and stuff like that. They were worried that he died, and when they came back, they was relieved and stuff like that. Overall, I guess it was a 6 out of 10 for the themes and the characters and stuff like that.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
This movie is garbage. I don't even know why I watched this crap. Honestly, I remember watching this way back in the day, and I remember the ending and how, like, basically it was just not all a dream, but, like, it seemed like it was all a dream, and he ended up being in the globe, along with his whole family in the house. But it's like, oh, that's all I remember. And I remember it was probably bad, but I didn't remember it being this bad. This movie's garbage. Like, I don't like do I like a single character? Maybe the main character somewhat. Because I think he was the least destroyed in terms of like writing. I think the old lady, like his grandma, was fine up until the end where she just like I guess sacrificed herself. Which I understand because she wanted to give them more time. But if like Krampus's men, right, or like his henchmen, were coming after the family anyway, why would stopping just him do anything? Because like they're still gonna get got. Like none of the family can stop the henchmen. They can't defeat them. So it's just like Krampus has enough people to kill the whole family. It's just I don't know. This movie's bad. It's terrible. The cinematography was fine, I guess. I understood everything that was happening in the movie. Characters are garbage, and the characters are the main thing. If y'all have been watching my channel for a while, y'all know that characters are my main thing when it comes to media in general. So the characters were garbage in this, and it destroyed the movie. I'm trying to think. There weren't really. I guess the main theme of the movie was just like, I guess be positive or some bullcrap like that. Don't let negativity take you over or whatever. I feel like it should have been handled in a better way. And it's just kind of like you're punishing these characters that I already don't like, and we're not fleshed out enough. And overall, it's just I don't care. 3 out of 10.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
This is the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Now, overall, I really did not like this special, but only because I feel like it was kind of like strange when it came to the whole Drax and Mantis, trying to find Kevin Bacon. I feel like the part where they were like attacking the police officers and stuff like that felt kind of out of character, even for those two. Like Drax is very like inept when it comes to like human stuff and just understanding other people. Like he didn't even understand what a metaphor was in the first movie. But I still feel like in general he is not like a evil dude necessarily, and neither is Mantis. And Mantis is like kind of inept in a way socially. But she like I just don't believe. I felt like they were very out of character with like attacking the police officer just to escape and stuff like that. When in general they should have just like honestly left if Kevin Bacon never wanted to approach them to begin with. He never wanted to invite them into his home, because obviously, like let's say they didn't understand, because like Peter would understand because he's been on Earth, so he'd be like, all right, he understands how celebrities work, so he would understand that Kevin doesn't want to just be approached in his own home or at his doorstep, because it's kind of awkward. Like you're just some random fan to him. But Drax and Mantis don't understand that, and they didn't tell him that they were going there. So that also is kind of frustrating. Um, so I understand why they would approach him. I don't understand why they wouldn't leave though. Like, why would you try to capture this dude? And Peter even said himself, it's literally it's kidnapping. It's human trafficking. It's ridiculous. So I'm just really upset at this crossover, or not crossover. I had that on the tip of my tongue. Like, I wanted to say that. This holiday special is what I mean to say. I think it failed for me. I think it had some good moments. Like Peter, I think Peter and Mantis are probably the best. And I'm only saying Mantis just because of the ending where they kind of reminisce about Mantis being his sister and stuff like that, which actually makes sense. And at first I was confused actually, but it kind of makes sense because she was sort of like the daughter of Ego, which I didn't even think about before, and it wasn't. I don't want to say it wasn't made clear because I guess through context clues you can kind of like pick that up, but I don't know. I just didn't think about it. That was low key a good scene, but after the stuff that I didn't like in the beginning, where she was attacked, she and Drax were attacking the police officer. I kind of felt some type of way. But yeah, overall the cinematography is really good. The effects look like Guardians 1 and 2. It looks really good. And I really was missing Gamora in this one. It kind of made me think about the first two movies. So I guess that was something. It kind of made me miss Yondu as well. At first I thought he was being an asshole, but once they realized at the end that Peter showed that in the end he was actually a good guy, I kind of was missing him. So I give this like a, I don't know, 4 out of 10, I guess. You know what? 5 out of 10. How about that?
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe.
Overall, I really like this movie, Home Alone. I really think it's a really good, like, Christmas movie, and I think it's a really good movie in general, objectively. And I guess I'll have to give it a rating. It would be like a 9 or a 10, to be honest. This is damn near like a perfect movie. I have really no problems with it. Love all the characters. I even love like the crooks, where you don't really know their backstory. You don't really need to. I feel like just knowing that these are crooks, they want to go after these houses. They're very infamous. One of them is really stupid, the other's smart. I love the contrast of that and how they interact. They butt heads. Really love that. And I love like Kevin's arc throughout this whole thing. He's becoming more mature as a person. And obviously he's 8 years old. He's a kid, but he's outsmarting these adults. He's grown ass men, and it's funny. The whole movie's like, it's very entertaining seeing. I love Kevin's personality too. He's just very like chill about things. Even though he's home alone, he's actually very chill about the situation. And it's very funny. And kind of reminds me of myself. Honestly, I'll probably be freaking out at some point, like he kind of did at moments in the movie, obviously, because he's a kid, he's by himself. So I just think overall, and I liked the idea behind every character having some sort of logic behind them, to where like Kevin was doing stuff to make sure that he wasn't like being found out as like no one outside of obviously it's like his family and stuff like that found out that he was actually home alone. Well, no one besides the family and the crooks. Because even the people at the stores, he was trying to make sure like they didn't find out that he was actually home alone, so that he could actually do the groceries. So he's a smart kid, and I really like that about him. So he had a lot of growth, and smart kid, and he has a good personality. So yeah, he's multi-layered. Honestly, in 2 hours, they made a really good character, really good main character. I even like how the movie kind of like, if it's your first time viewing, it surprises you with how smart it is. Like even when like you think about the smart crook and how he just outsmarts Kevin and stuff like that, it's just very interesting, and it feels very realistic in general. Even with like the mother, how she definitely left Kevin, but it's because the whole family kind of dislikes Kevin, or at least like they feel like he's very annoying, and it kind of slipped her mind. Obviously, I think she's a terrible mother, but in general, like, mistakes like that could happen in real life. And then eventually, she tries to, call the police and all this other stuff. And I love how the movie actually has some consistency, some logic. Obviously, the cinematography isn't like crazy or anything like that, but overall, a very good movie, a very good Christmas movie. I recommend it to other people. 9 out of 10.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
I really knew this movie was gonna be bad because I remember it from my childhood, like seeing the first movie, and I knew it was good. And actually, yeah, like rewatching it for this little video, I'm starting to realize how objectively good it really is. But after seeing the second one, I'm starting to realize why they didn't make a third. Because I was always wondering to myself, why did they make all the remakes, but they didn't just make a third movie of this? And now I understand it completely. This movie's garbage. It takes everything from the first movie and just does it again, but worse. Even like the two villains, I forget their names, but they're done a lot worse in general, and they have entirely too much like just plot armor in general. Like they don't die from like a lot of the stuff that Kevin does to them, like all the traps. Like even in the first movie, the traps weren't like really gonna kill them because it's like they weren't really that deadly. Even then, they actually, some of them, they probably should have died. Like the flamethrower kind of thing that he used near the door, that the short like bald dude got hit by in his forehead, or yeah, the top of his head. um it burned all of his like his hat off and his hair. Like that should have killed him. And a couple other things, like they really should have killed him. But in this movie, the second one, it was way worse. This movie is literally like a cartoon, like Tom and Jerry skit or something like that. It's bad. um Honestly, Kevin's arc is basically the same one as in the first one, so I'm not really interested in that, even though it was actually very interesting because we actually saw him befriend the old man, and then he got the old man to actually, just have some confidence in his, I think it was his stepdaughter or his nephew, not nephew, his niece or something like that. I don't know the specifics, but it's something like that. So he essentially helped this older man on Christmas, and then that older man actually helped him by saving his life, and it was like a good little arc there. Also, Kevin was learning to become old. Like as he's gonna grow older, he's gonna have to mature. So right now he's trying to actually mature to save his own life and save his family's home. But then in the second one, it just became like, okay, we're just gonna, I'm gonna save this store and then set up a bunch of traps that really is like, I shouldn't be able to freaking make in the first place because I'm freaking, what, 10 years old. It's just it everything in this movie is just a cartoon, honestly. Like I want to pretend that this movie never even happened. The mother is a terrible mother, because in the first one I was like, I could let her slide, maybe this could happen. But honestly, in this one, I couldn't forgive her. Honestly, I can't forgive any of the family members. They're all terrible for this, like doing this shit the second time. Again, like supporting characters or whatever. This is like a 2 out of 10. It's bad. It's terrible. Honestly, no, 1 out of 10. Freak it. Whatever.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Now, The Polar Express, I actually really enjoyed this movie in general. I think it's a really good, like, just kind of exploration movie where, it's not really about a bunch of different, like, villains or anything like that you have to come up against or whatever the hell. Like, for the Krampus movie, it's a actual villain who's basically evil Santa Claus. For this, it's, like, more so just, going to the North Pole and just seeing Santa and just, basically believing in the idea behind Christmas, basically, in believing in Santa Claus. That's basically what the whole movie's about. That's the whole main character's arc. There's other characters who have similar or different arcs in general, but that's basically the whole theme of the movie, is just believing. And obviously, there's a lot of like spectacle and a lot of like crazy cartoonish stuff that happens. But it's more of like the train and everything that happens around the train is more magical. in concept, so I kind of understand why it was very like bombastic and ridiculous. So overall, I kind of accept it. I still think it's kind of strange though, and there are some issues with the movie, in terms of like logical things. But like overall, I think it's a really good film. It's very entertaining. I think all the characters really fit where they need to be. And in general, yeah, it's really good. Like what, 7 out of 10? Yeah. So I would recommend this to other people. Just want to sit down and watch a good Christmas movie, and yeah, it's a good seven, solid.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Honestly, this Noel movie is kind of boring for a huge portion of it. I think it really tried to capture the feeling of like the Elf movie. Because if y'all don't know Elf, it was like the first thing I reviewed on this video, and in my other like day one Christmas video, the Christmas movie video. Essentially, it's basically that movie, but like worse. And that's what I said for like the Home Alone thing. Like the sequel is way worse than the first one because it's just the first one, with all the themes and all the like different types of characters and everything. And this does the same thing. It's like you have the main character who's like a fish out of water, trying to figure out the world and everything, while also trying to like essentially save Christmas. And then you have the like side characters who like one is like an older gentleman and he has a kid, and it's a boy too. And they have like their own arc where they have to like learn the spirit of Christmas or whatever the hell. And then you have like the supporting character who, I guess in this one, is, I forgot the name. Yeah, but like basically it's the actual Santa Claus, like her brother or whatever. Which is basically, I guess you could say, how do I put this? I guess you could say the supporting character could be like the actual Santa Claus in the Elf movie. So that could be like a replacement for that. Essentially, yeah, that's basically all I got from this movie. I, Anna Hendrick in this role was kind of like miscast. I feel like, I don't know. She wasn't terrible, but it's just like I wasn't really buying her as this character. I think she just kind of felt very like shoehorned in general. Like it just wasn't. It wasn't doing it for me, to be honest. I think most of the directing, or just like no, most of the acting in this movie in general, it wasn't really hitting. It was very boring. Just the whole idea of, like, for example, the fish out of water I can't speak in this damn video, damn. Those segments where she's just exploring the town and all that other stuff, I didn't find that very interesting, just because you have to build a connection to those specific places and make it feel like that not only does that person not know what the hell is going on with different like buildings and different people, how they celebrate Christmas, and some people don't celebrate it. It's just like the different nuances, and it just like when she was doing specific things, very random things, it wasn't really driving the story. Like when you see Buddy in the Elf movie, making this like spaghetti chocolate like freaking marshmallow like meal and stuff like that, he's very into candy, he's very into like those very like sweet foods and stuff like that. And he's just like he's essentially a kid, in an adult's body. But with this chick, it's like with Anna Hendrick's character, it's just Noelle is just a not interesting character. This is not an interesting movie. I guess to be nice, I'll give it a 4, but I'd probably give it something lower than that, honestly.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Batman Returns. Now, I actually didn't see the first one. This is actually my first time seeing this franchise. I think it was not trilogy. It had a couple movies to its name. And I know a lot of people love this movie and stuff like that. I think it has some issues, but overall, it was a really enjoyable film. I guess I'll just give the rating right now. I'd probably say like a 6 or a 7. I don't know. I'll say like a 7 for now, just because I'm feeling good about it. I think the writing in general has some issues, but I really like the characters, and their characterization really helped strengthen the film, especially like Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. I really heard the good things about her, and honestly, I think she has a really good arc. And just her descent into madness is very entertaining. and also very sad at the same time. And she's a very just very interesting character. Probably the best in the film. My personal favorite. Uh, Penguin's probably my second, just because Batman was like Bruce was barely in this movie. Batman was in this movie even less. It's actually pretty sad. Maybe like towards the end, like in the third act, he actually like was shown a bit more, but that's because he needs to be like he needs to save the day, all this other stuff. This movie was definitely the villain's movie, and I kind of actually like it though. It's really good because we get to see more of like Penguin and how his arc is going and how he's developing as a character. You know, after going through such trauma, being thrown into the river and not being able to see his parents, them dying afterwards, and then he has to go through all this like mayor stuff. Then he actually eventually is able to like encounter Batman and stuff like that, and that's when you kind of see the parallels of like Batman had his parents killed, or yeah, so that he had his parents killed and they're dead, and then Penguin's parents are dead as well. So they kind of have that trauma that kind of drives them, makes them hero and villain. Basically, it's like it drives them, makes them who they are. I really like that. It kind of actually reminds me of the Batman from 21. Like it was in March. The new one with Robert Pattinson. I really like that one. I think objectively that one's better than this one, the Batman. But this one is definitely it's a really good one, and it reminds me they both have Catwoman, so it's like yeah, it's like objectively every single character I think is better in the Batman. Um, but I really do like this version of Catwoman. Honestly, I just want to say it again because comparing both, it's like actually I might even like this one more in terms of personality, but in terms of character, I might just say the Batman takes that. The actual like plot and what she does in it and stuff. Um, but overall, yeah, this is a really good film. I might even just give it an 8, honestly, just because I really just enjoyed the atmosphere as well. The cinematography is really good. Um, just honestly, I'll probably give it like a 7.5. But if I wanted to give an exact number, it's just a 7, honestly, like a whole number. Um, yeah, and I'm definitely gonna watch the other like Batman movies of this franchise. I'm gonna watch the first one, which had Joker in it. I'm gonna watch the other ones, and yeah, you get the point. Yeah. So comment, subscribe, like, and yeah, see ya.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Honestly, this movie is just it's weird. It's honestly weird, and I understand the concept of the Edward Scissorhands movie, but it's just like I only wanted to watch this because I wanted to watch something random, and I saw the title and I saw the character. I'm like, oh, this is really creepy looking, just like his design and everything. And obviously, he's like more of like he looks like a serial killer or uh, like a horror movie villain or something like that. He really looks like that. It's like it's so jarring to look at this character and be like, why is he in this like role? Like, why is he in this movie? Really, like he does not fit anywhere in it. And I guess that's kind of the point. And, that's why that kind of creates intrigue, for the movie in general, and that's why it was made. But like, I feel like it's too dramatic. It's like I do not believe that y'all seen this like 6 foot tall looking dude. Well, I don't know if he's actually like 6 foot tall. He looks tall compared to everyone else. But like this dude, is he played by Johnny Depp? I didn't even check that honestly, but he kind of looks like him. If that's so, then he probably isn't 6 foot actually. In general, just like this dude with like these giant ass like claws. They're actually scissors, but like it just looks like giant claws. It's ridiculous. It actually like it genuinely looks like a horror movie villain. It looks like he could fight like Predator or like the Alien or some crap. Or no, actually no. He could actually be in a Freddy versus Jason movie. Dead ass. Like it's just he looks like that type of character. And for some reason, and basically the whole theme of the movies is basically like accepting yourself for who you are, and just like um essentially just it's like a fish out of water kind of concept again, kind of like the Noel movie or like the Elf movie. It's just done poorly. It's unbelievable. because you can I can suspend my disbelief to a certain extent, but with this whole movie, I couldn't do it. It's just the whole concept is fine. The execution in terms of like how dramatic this character looks compared to everyone else is not good. Um, and if he wasn't so dramatic looking, I could actually buy a lot of what was happening. But because it was so ridiculous, I could not. It's ridiculous, honestly. But I do like the idea of like if this is Johnny Depp or whoever the actual actor is, I loved his acting though. As this character, if it was just less dramatic, I have to like give credit to the fact that he had like these giant claws and he was able to like hold them and not actually like cut anyone or cut himself like actually, and just like wield them and stuff like that, move them around, like wave them around, like as if he was actually cutting grass or like cutting people's hair. I thought that was entertaining. And yeah, it's just like it's whatever. Honestly, it doesn't even have like a happy ending or whatever. Like it's not like I need that, but it's just I don't know. It's like a 3 out of 10.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe.
Oh, this movie, it's rough. I'm not gonna lie, it's rough. I'm just gonna say that right up front and everything. This movie, before I even say anything, probably like we're looking at about a 4. Um, ugh, and that's if I'm being nice. I might say like a 3, out of 10. This is Love Hard. I think it's a really stupid movie. It's another romance, kind of like Christmas movie, combination. Um, and before I even say anything, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. I'm not even gonna watch that. It's not part of my list. So if y'all already wondering, no, it is not. It's not part of this. The 25 like Christmas movies I'm gonna watch is not part of that at all. I would have never even thought to put that in my list because it's not. It's just not a Christmas movie. You can consider it one, because I put some movies where like Batman Returns, right? It has Christmas in it, but it's not just about that. But they even say like Merry Christmas in the movie, and they have like what is it called? Christmas trees and everything. So it's like it makes enough. Like a lot of these movies, they make enough sense for them to be on here. This movie is just like, or I mean, Die Hard. I mean that movie's just like it shouldn't be on there. Maybe I actually need to check out the franchise, or whatever. But to my knowledge, it probably shouldn't be up there. I talked about Die Hard entirely too long. Back to this movie. Yeah, it's not good. Overall, it's just not good. I think all the characters are bad. I understand the concept behind them. It's like, oh, you never know who you're really gonna fall in love with, or whatever. But I think it's just poorly done. The characters are unbelievable in what they do. It's really irritating. It really. I think overall, the main character, what is it called? What Nina Dobrev, whatever, like the actual actress, the character that she's playing, she should have left like as soon as she knew she got catfished. The actual like male dude who catfished her is kind of, I can see it's like okay overall, but the fact that he tried to marry her like at the beginning, at the middle of the movie, that was ridiculous, and I kind of just lost complete respect for him. Like honestly, like whatever respect I had for him potentially before, it was completely gone. Honestly, the male main character that she wanted, like the Nina Dobrev's character, is just kind of plain. I know he's in Never Have I Ever. He's bad in that one too. Actually, no, he's actually a lot better in that one. But in this one, he's just, it's whatever. This movie's bad. That's all I have to say.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe.
Now this one, The Grinch. I actually really like this one. It's The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. And I have some pictures. It's about the animated version, but like I'm specifically talking about the actual like live action one. I really like this movie. I think overall, it's it's one of the better Christmas movies on here actually. It's really very goofy. It's very cartoony. Because I kind of trashed the movies on here where they are very cartoony, but they're not supposed to be. They're actually supposed to be a lot more serious. At least to some extent, they're supposed to make some sense. So they're supposed to have logical consistency, and not be like super cartoony to where like I can't believe anything that's happening. Like with Home Alone 2, that bull crap. So with this movie, it's like it's intentionally goofy, and it keeps the same energy the whole movie. So in this universe, certain people have like higher durability. Like the Grinch has pretty decently high durability, for example, and he's able to do like many different feats of like honestly like super strength. I guess you could essentially say super speed as well, and stuff like that. And that I could actually take seriously in this movie because it's like again the whole thing is like weird stuff like that. I think certain character decisions kind of didn't make sense and they're kind of weird. Like him meeting the little girl and like sparing her is kind of strange, I guess. He's not like a murderer at the same time, so I don't know. This arc overall kind of reminded me of the Night Before Christmas, that whole movie, and how like Jack's arc was about, not was it essentially about saving Christmas afterwards? It was basically like accepting Christmas for what it is and not trying to like destroy it anymore. And that's essentially what this arc is. It's very very similar. Um, but I think I like this movie's execution of that more. This is Night Before Christmas is not as engaging for me. I think I give that movie like a 6 or 7. I don't know. I don't really remember like between recordings and stuff like that because I gotta move on to the next movie. A couple of movies and edit stuff like that. But yeah, overall this like movie's like a 7 or 8. I'll give it like an 8 out of 10.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
This movie is garbage. It's garbage. It's complete garbage. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. I'm not even gonna sing that crap. Nah, I'm not even for a joke. No. But yeah, this has Amelia Claire as like the main character. Honestly, I think she was actually pretty interesting. I actually saw her in Game of Thrones for like 8 seasons recently, so seeing her with a British accent is kind of like jarring for me. But I kind of like it actually. It's really nice. You had also the actress who was in Everywhere, Anywhere, Everywhere, All at Once, something like that. This title's weird. That main actress, and she was also very funny in this one. I didn't laugh. I definitely didn't laugh. I did not laugh at all, but it was funny. Everything she was saying was funny because she was roasting the main character, Amelia Clark's character, and honestly, I didn't like her throughout the whole movie because she was annoying and just repulsive. It's just like the fact that she was being somewhat rewarded, like the fact that the store owner, like her boss, like basically rewarded her by like not firing her when she literally got them robbed. Like that really irritated me. It's just like, yeah, like I didn't like that at all. She should have been fired, honestly. And I don't want to go into a tangent, but it kind of just reminds me of like how certain characters in fiction just do not get consequences when they actually should. Like in Spider-Man No Way Home, he basically loses everything. And I'm just mentioning that for just some random movie. Um Also, unironically, there's Christmas in that movie at the end because there's a Christmas tree. So that's kind of funny. But back to my point, he loses everything. All the people he's ever loved do not remember him and all the other stuff because they forget about Peter Parker. Um, so it's just like that. Those are actual consequences for like a bunch of bull crap that you do in the beginning of the movie. But for this one, it's like it's not as apparent because again, it's a Christmas movie. It has to be like happy at the end or whatever the hell. Overall, I'll give it like a 3 out of 10. But really, it's like I think the whole idea behind the heart and their whole romance and how he had never actually told her that that was his heart and stuff like that. It was kind of weird though, because it's like, is it just me or it's like, how do you just live without? Was it like half his heart or like his whole heart or like that didn't make sense to me. I don't know, but overall, it's just like this is a really weird movie. I really have to like rewatch it to kind of like just let it sink in. But it's just like that whole romance part was bad. So the romance was bad. The side characters were unengaging. And honestly, like the main character should have just left them all alone. To be honest, because like she just messes everything up. I'm glad she like made up for everything that she was doing in the end. But at the end of the day, it wasn't interesting enough to care about her arc. It just felt half-assed in general. So yeah, just a bad movie. I never want to watch it again.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
The Christmas Chronicles. Now, I think this movie is a very interesting movie. I wouldn't give it like the best score because overall, I think objectively, it's not really like a fantastic movie. But I think it really is a very interesting like world building, a Christmas world building movie, where like it has like the fundamentals of like a Christmas movie and stuff like that, kind of like Elf or like Noel or anything like that. And it's like putting you in this world, and you kind of have to like see some of the different creatures and just like how Christmas works in this world, how we're gonna save Christmas through these characters. We have Santa Claus, obviously, main character in most of these, or one of the main characters, and then you have the kid. I think it's the daughter of I forget her name, but yeah, it's the the little girl obviously, and then her brother, and they basically just they kind of like have this little rivalry. They're brother and sister, so obviously they have a little bit of fighting going on, and obviously their dad died, so it's like there's a little bit of tension there as well. And the mother is trying to like get them to not fight all the time, and I really like that dynamic, and I love how they make up in the end. And I really like the characters in this movie. I would say that is actually a strength in it, and that's the best part of it overall. It's like it really keeps me enjoying it throughout the whole film. My favorite is Santa Claus himself, just because of all the stuff that he gets himself wrapped into. When it comes to like going to jail, meeting that one guy who's the prisoner, like, or not prisoner, the police officer who arrested him, stuff like that. And he had that little arc where he started to believe in Christmas again, believe in Santa, and then that was really cool actually, because you showed like the worst elements of like a non-believer, and like just like the worst possible example, right? Or the best possible, technically, right? The best possible example of a non-believer, and he was able to actually conform and change him into an actual true believer, and that's really cool. And I just think the world building in this movie in general is kind of bad, and I'm gonna explain why actually. So when you think about the idea of Santa Claus, dropping you off presents and stuff like that, it really just doesn't make a lot of sense, because you have to think about it. In like the older brother, he knew in his mind that like kind of like in the real world, like Santa Claus doesn't actually exist. So like he had that in his mind. He was gonna tell his younger sister, but he did not. But then Santa Claus actually does exist. So like, do the parents know? Because if the parents give them presents, how do they not also know that Santa gives them presents? Like, it's just kind of like weird. Like, do they know that like these extra presents just get dropped off or something like that? It just doesn't make sense when I really think about it. And this is also a problem for the Elf movie, which is kind of sad now I'm thinking about it objectively. And let me know in the comment section if this isn't an issue. But when I really think about it, it kind of is. Like, and it kind of sucks. But yeah, overall the world building is just it's more of like a practical aspect. Like, it tries to explain everything. Even Santa has like magical powers to where you can like teleport and stuff like that. Like, this movie really tries to explain everything about Christmas and everything about Santa Claus and how he does certain things, which is really cool at the end of the day. But and they do it more in the second movie, even like way more. But I think overall it kind of fails in some aspects, but the characters are still great though, and they honestly carry the movie. Probably give this one like a 6 or a 7, something like that. I'm very generous to it, but yeah. Comment, subscribe, like, see ya.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Now this one, the Christmas Chronicles 2, I really did not enjoy this movie. I think overall, well, I actually did enjoy it, subjectively. I thought it was a really entertaining movie, made me laugh at a lot of points, because I was kind of just having fun with it, just trying to like relax and not really take it too seriously. But also, I did think about some of the illogical things with the movie, which, again, this is another world building issue with this movie that the first one had, and I already mentioned that in my previous video. But in general, it's just like I feel like with this one, it cranked it up a notch, but it also like just made everything more confusing. Um, and just like the technical aspects of like Santa living for like what, I think it was like 700 years, something like that. It was like a thousand seven. He was like 1,700 years old, or past that actually. I think that's when he started Christmas, like when he started giving presents and stuff like that. But the point is like that's kind of strange. And I guess like the reason he looks old is because like he has to leave so much to actually like deliver presents. So overall, his he starts to age when he actually delivers presents, but when he's in the North Pole, like he doesn't age. So I'm cool with that. Um, Also like what is his name? Bells Nickel. He's kind of like a okay villain. I think overall he's just like he's just like a parallel to like the younger uh kid, the female kid. And essentially she is still the main character, and she's going through that arc where she has to get over her dad's death and stuff like that. So she actually meets him in the past, and I think that's really cool, and it's a little nod to the first movie. It definitely feels like a really connected movie, trying to like take everything from the first one that made it great, like even like the musical number that they kind of did, which is honestly probably better in this one than the second or the first one. I gotta be honest. um, it just had more spectacle overall. The only thing I didn't like is just again the world building and just like how everything works. 'Cause, like now there's time travel. Like it's so ridiculous. Most stories when they have time travel, they just screw it up. This one is one of them. Like Belsnickel just somehow creates time travel. I don't understand it. It's ridiculous. But I mean, things need to happen so the characters can have their arcs. Like even the young black kid and his dad, which again I don't remember most of their names, so like I'm just kind of describing the best I can. He actually had his arc where he was trying to become more independent, and I like that. But the fact that Mrs. Claus let him just go out with the giant like uh jaguar thing, the white jaguar, going out there almost killing him, and then like Belsnickel also almost killing everyone, and they just forgive him in the end. It's like that doesn't make any freaking sense. So it's just like it feels like everything in this movie just needed to happen a specific way, so it just happened that way. So it's just like when you turn your brain off, this is a really good movie, but when you turn it on, just like you crank it up just a little bit, it breaks everything. Honestly, it's really disappointing. It's still a very entertaining movie. Actually, in some ways, more entertaining than the first one, way more. But yeah, and it's definitely I would recommend this if you want to watch it with your kids or whatever. And yeah, comment, subscribe, like. I'll give this one like a I don't know 4, 3, something like that.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Okay, so the night before Christmas. Now, I think this movie is really bad. Even the title is taken from, well, somewhat taken from an even better movie that I gave I gave it like a 6 or 7 out of 10. I think it was a 6, but that movie is definitely way better than this. I gotta be honest. It actually has a theme. It has struggles. It has a actual climax, actual characters. Um, just an actual story. Also, there's a movie called Elf and a movie called Noel, which those two, even though I do not like Noel and I already made a video about that, so you can already, watch that and, get my perspective on that. It's way better than this bullcrap. This movie is garbage. And the reason is because, like, all the characters do not act like actual people. Like even Vanessa Hudgens' character, it's just like she just invites this random person into her home, and we're just supposed to believe that because he's attractive, she's just gonna let him in, Oh, he's this knight, and isn't that so cute? And it's like it's like this fish out of water concept, and it's really stupid because I don't believe it. I don't buy any of this. It's again, Elf did this way better because everything that was happening was very believable, and his progression. Into becoming part of the family actually like made more sense in terms of like he appeared as like a crazy creepy person, but then he actually knew information about Susan Wells, which is actually his mother technically, and like he actually was able to convince the person who wanted to keep him out of the family, which was his actual father. And it's just like it's crazy to me that this movie had no actual like struggle, no actual like antagonist or anything like that. So it was just kind of like this movie was very bland. There was nothing happening. It was just you know essentially like Cole's character is just he's basically like in the Thor, like the Thor movie. This literally ripped off Thor 1, where essentially he's like, oh, I want a horse and all this other crap. Like he's Thor if he had no character. And he's just there to protect, attack, and most importantly, do absolutely nothing but be a goddamn freaking mannequin for this movie, a handsome mannequin for this dumbass movie. Smooching with Vanessa Hudgens' character. This movie's garbage. I hate it. It's a 1. This is a 1 out of 10. I don't care.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe.
Now, I know Frozen isn't technically a Christmas movie, but I want to review it anyway just because it's snow themed and, has ice in it and stuff like that and, cold weather, which actually is like what's happening right now. Obviously, it's December. So I thought, in a way, it kind of felt like the same thing. Obviously, you have snowmen and stuff like that. It's just kind of like, it feels right. Also, the second one came out in 2019 and I never saw it. So, I'm kind of giving my chance to see it now and be able to review it. Overall, I think this movie is very bad, and my whole thing is, I think it could have been way better. It's actually, I watched this video, it actually described it as an idiot plot. Now, that's basically essentially, the idiot plot is like when a movie could have been solved like very easily if the characters were actually intelligent and did, basic common sense things, like things that would actually like make sense for normal people. But again, this movie is not made for normal people. It's made for people who, just want to see great scenery, and want to hear, good music, that's catchy. Actually, I can't even say good music, just music that's catchy, and they want to see pretty colors. That's really what this movie is, like, that's the fan base, right, for this movie. Because it was one of the most popular, and highest grossing animated films of all time, back in, like, 2013. This is a very successful film, and it's garbage. Like, this movie is probably, like, honestly, a 1 or 2 out of 10. And y'all might think I'm being dramatic when I say that. It genuinely is. It's really bad. Honestly, the only working character is probably Han. Han and no. Han doesn't even work either. Because I don't even understand why he didn't just kill Elsa earlier. Like when she was sleeping, instead of just, I mean, he could have still framed her for killing Anna. And then my whole thing is just like, why would Anna even like believe him or believe he's a good guy and try to marry him to begin with? Like, I understand, like, obviously not having parents around and just being isolated from your sister, you're gonna like become lonely and like want to like find a partner eventually. But like to just marry him on the spot like that, like I just don't. That's not believable. Maybe within even like the first week or the first month is what I was thinking about. Actually, you would think about it, but like no. Literally, the first, it hasn't even been like 8 hours, and she's already trying to marry this dude. That's ridiculous. Bro, this movie's garbage. Oh my god. Oh man. Also, I feel like Kristoff is very just bland and boring. I think in the beginning he was really cool, but overall he just kind of like he lost me. Like essentially, as soon as they said Anna and Kristoff were like meant to be together and they loved each other, it's like I'm just like, where did this come from? It's ridiculous. They just shoehorned it in. Like, I know it's a Disney movie, but god damn, like you could just do something different. You know what I mean? He had that relationship with his, the reindeer stuff. I guess it was fine. It's kind of weird. It's what you expect from like one of these Disney movies where they have like the animal is like either talks or doesn't talk, and it's like kind of on the goofier side, and it's just whatever. Also, Olaf is like kind of goofy too, and it's not funny. Yeah, it's whatever. He could have been worse though, I guess. Some of this movie is interesting though, and that's why it really frustrates me. Like the fact that it has really good music, which I actually, wouldn't have expected from a Disney movie. And obviously I knew about the Let It Go and like the other music in the past. Like I saw parts of this movie years ago. It's just I never remembered the whole thing. So the music's fine. It's just that it really heavily relies on that, and also relies on the visuals in terms of just like, oh, being pretty. You see all the ice and all the particles, and the hair looks really good and stuff like that. As Disney's made, they made Tangled, which is very similar to this art style. Like I like the parallel of like all the other Disney movies that have ever been made, and how like the idea of the princess and the prince getting together and like falling in love right at the spot. It's kind of like Han and Anna, and that's kind of like a dark parallel because Han ends up being evil, which I kind of like, and it kind of like is like social commentary for that in a certain sense. Maybe I'm looking into it too much. I don't know. But I don't like the whiplash of like Elsa, fearing for like Anna and other people's lives, and then the next scene you see her just like frolicking about, singing "Let It Go," and it's too happy for what the scene is supposed to represent, which is her, kind of falling into a depression of like, oh, I have to, isolate myself from the world, essentially. And if it's supposed to be sad, why is it so happy? And some people would interpret it as like, oh no, this is her being free and feeling like, obviously she says, but obviously she's very much in distress. So I'm just like, it feels very conflicting to me, and that's it's one of those things with this movie. It just sometimes it just doesn't make sense to me. 1 out of 10.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Wow. Like I am genuinely surprised with how bad this movie is. Like it is worse than the first one, and I did not expect that at all. Like I expected some elements to be bad compared to the first one, but like honestly, the whole movie, every single thing about it, except maybe like the animation is like about the same in terms of like quality. Obviously, like the first one was really good. This one is also really good. Maybe in some elements you could also say it handles with a lot more like complicated stuff, so you could say it's better. But overall, like it handles the ice very very well. The hair animations look really good. They flow very well. Let's see here. The snow looks really good. Just, and they have like some extra elements like wind and stuff like that, which looks awesome. Especially like the tornado. Um, you have like fire and stuff that they use a little bit. You have the rock monsters. Everything looks good overall in terms of like animation wise. So that's one plus I can give the movie. Everything else is crap. In terms of like all the characters that you knew from the first movie, I feel like their arcs are just very like just bad in general. Like everyone gets sidelined for Anna. In general, it's like I understand where they wanted to take her plot line, essentially just giving her the spotlight for a little bit and having her save the day. Also, like Elsa kind of swoops in. She swoops in at the end, and it's kind of like abrupt. Because you think she's gonna die, and Olaf is gonna die, which actually would have been interesting somewhat. Because that was actually one of the more like darker parts of the movie is when Olaf actually dies, and then Elsa supposedly dies, and Anna is left with no one, even though Kristoff still exists and stuff like that. So it's kind of like it's kind of iffy. And then also Kristoff being an awkward mother freaker is just annoying because it's like he could have handled it so much better. Again, it's like the idiot plot thing, which I mentioned with the first movie. It's like if characters just do certain things, the movie would go by faster. But no, they just have to be dumb. It's irritating. And then also the townspeople, just like accepting Anna destroying the bridge so quickly is just so strange to me. Like after all that history and all that other stuff of the father like betraying the head of like the sorcerer like people. I don't know specific names. It's kind of hard to remember. I have to like rewatch the movie and like specifically pick out the actual name. But like the head of the sorcerer people with like the wind and the fire and all that other stuff. He was killed by Anna's grandfather. It's just like that's what started the whole war and everything like that. Honestly, I think it's very convoluted in general. Like me having to go over the whole history because it comes out of nowhere. In general, it's annoying that these like sorcerer people like with all the elements and stuff like freaking it's basically the avatar. They have the fire, the wind, and all this other stuff. The rock, which is earth. And it's just like why wasn't this handled in the first movie? Again, it just destroys the first movie. Like the first movie was already bad. I already explained why. It had its own like problems and its own strengths, but like with this movie, it's like, oh my god, it just everything's cranked up to 11. Not in a good way. You know, it's not even like the strongest element, which is the animation. Not it's very similar to the first one, copy and paste. You know, you couldn't tell that it's been like what 6 years since the first one. You couldn't even tell. So honestly, this one, it's another one. Like, just because the animation's good, it flows very well. I'll say the music is worse in general. There isn't really like they really try to make it like the first one where you have those very memorable pieces of music, but it does not hit. It does not hit the same. Um, it hits different, but not good. Uh, Overall, it's just like even like the song I was even thinking about this when the first song hit, and it was basically she was talking about like she was singing about basically the music, the or not the music, the what is it, the singing that she was hearing in the distance from that woman, and that was like making her curious, and it kind of started the plot and stuff like that, and then she was curious, and then you know the wind people came about, and then she learned all the backstory and everything. It's just it wasn't interesting. Nothing about this movie's good. My goodness, I didn't think like going back to these movies. I did not think it would just be a 1 out of 10. Jesus, like both of them. My goodness, or even then, yeah, they're just both 1 out of 10s. They're garbage. Whatever.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Honestly, this movie just makes me sad. It's the Sweet Home Alone or some crap. My goodness, I don't even know why the old actor who played the McAllister kid, Kevin's brother, even came back for this crap. Like honestly, this movie's it's like a 1 out of, is it a 1 out of 10? Yeah, honestly, it's a one. It's another like so we've had three ones in a row. Actually, like maybe the first Frozen, I'll probably get like a three. Now I think about it, maybe I was a bit too harsh to it. A three or a four. I gotta think about that. But in general, the other two are ones. Like the Frozen two is a one, and this one is a one because it's garbage. Like everything about the first Home Alone movie in like 1991 or two or something like that is just way better than this crap. Like literally everything about it. Like let's start off with the main character. The main character has no arc. He simply is just well, actually, the only arc he really has is like essentially Kevin's. It's like, oh, he's just mad at his mom. He's rebellious. He's kind of a misfit. And then once his parents leave, he just starts to feel bad about his family not being there. It's just like it's the same crap. And he doesn't even go through the same arc as Kevin. It's not as complex. He simply just feels bad after like an hour. Literally an hour, he did like a bunch of crap where he just like basically destroyed the house, just messing with everything, using like the iron table thing, to slide down the stairs, which Kevin did as well. Like Kevin was wilding out. He was kind of doing some crazy crap, but he realized after I think a little bit more development where you get to see some of his actual like family members. His family members are more interesting. Yeah, they're more interesting in the first movie as well. So it's like, and the parents as well, and even the freaking robbers. Like the robbers in this one are just like some random family, and it's like they get a huge arc. They get a bigger arc than freaking the main character. It's ridiculous. And then he forgives them in the end, and it's like after they literally almost got him killed like multiple times, and he almost killed them. He literally almost killed them, and that's the thing I don't like about the traps. Like if it's almost killing people, then it's like it's a problem. Like the kid's gonna be sent to juvie in general. So honestly, this movie's a 1 out of 10. Everything about it is bad. Yeah, it's garbage. Most people agree. So yeah, 1 out of 10, bad.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Honestly, I really like this Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie. I think it's a really good. I think it's like one of the better like animated films I've seen in a while. I think it's better than Before Christmas actually. Like Nightmare Before Christmas had its moments and stuff like that, especially the idea behind softening up to Christmas and kind of like getting rid of that sort of pessimism and stuff like that, and sort of understanding like another like side of things in a way, like another culture in a way. Like it could be translated into that as well. But this one I really like because it's just like all the characters, they really fit. Santa Claus is different. He's kind of an asshole in this one. I gotta be honest, but at the same time, it's like he's just kind of like a businessman in a way, and I kind of like that side of him. That they went a different approach with that. Rudolph is obviously like a misfit, kind of like the Home Alone kid, but like better. And he has to go through this whole adventure with his nose, and it's super loud and super annoying. Even when I was watching it, it was like really annoying. And I really like that. It's a good touch, and yeah, this is a really good animation as well. I really have to admit that. Overall, this is a story about like it's basically a journey, like a hero's journey in a way, to where like a coming of age story. That's what I mean to say. Where the kid is like trying to find his place in life, and try to just do what he can to maneuver throughout the world. And I really like that because he's really at a deficit, and he has his friends that he finds throughout the I don't know how much time actually passes throughout the movie. It's like 51 minutes. So if you want to see it, you can go watch it. Wherever you can. It's on YouTube actually, so you could just watch it on there. So in general, it's just like yeah, I really enjoy this film. I think it's about like a 8 or 9 out of 10. Honestly, I might just give it a 9.5. Like this is really good, or just round it up to 9. I really enjoy this film. I really like the dentist is like the blonde kids arc in general because it's like that's another parallel of like he's different and he wants to be part of the crowd, and eventually him and Rudolph actually find their way and they end up being part of the crowd in their own way, which I really like a lot. I also like how in this world, like the Christmas world, they actually emphasized a lot of like elements of like real life, to where like you have the misfit kid, his misfit friends, which is realistic. The kid who doesn't fit in actually ends up running away, and what's good about this arc is he actually comes back so that he can essentially just stop. Like that's basically his arc. He stops running from his problems, which they actually state in it. So there's some narration, but I don't think it takes away from the film overall, and that's perfectly fine. Even like Deadpool, he narrates his own story and stuff like that. So it's like stories can have narration, it's fine. I really like how he had sort of like a love interest as well, so he has some sort of a connection to his hometown, rather than just no one liking him at all. So he had a reason to come back as well. Even if he had no reason, I feel like it's just one of those things where he wants to do it for himself, kind of thing. I also really like the realism behind like if you go out in the real world as a kid and stuff like that, there's gonna be a lot of danger, there's gonna be a lot of troubles, a lot of obstacles, and that's what they have to deal with the Yeti. The Yeti is a great example of that. A great like character. It has a lot of characterization, just being this animal, but like and it's really good too. I like how the old man kind of had a battle with it as well, which is also really nice and had good animation, I'll say. Honestly, this is probably the best coming of age movie next to Elf. So yeah, it's like I can't really complain at all. There's not much to complain about, and it's an animated movie. It's very short, but it's straight to the point. I really like that. It doesn't waste time. So yeah, 9.5 or 9 or whatever.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Honestly, I think this movie is really good. The idea of a bad Santa, I really like in all these like Christmas movies how Santa kind of is an asshole in like a decent amount of them. Like, or there's at least a version of him that's not a good person basically. Like for the Krampus movie, it's like the whole idea of like an evil Santa, who kills people and stuff like that. It's interesting and cool. I don't like the movie. I think it's garbage. What do I give it, like a trying to think, because it's been a little bit. It's been like a week or so, a week or two, 3. So like I probably get like a 4, 3, something like that, like a bad score. But like in general, this movie, it's probably like a 7 or 8. I think it's really good. I give it like a 7. Yeah, I think that's a safe score. In general, I think it was kind of over the top overall. With the humor and stuff like that. It did make me laugh. Like I kind of cracked up low key. With certain scenes, like especially with him and the kid. What is his name? Like Herman or something like that. I think his last name is Herman. Thurman Herman, something like that. No, Thurman Merman, I think. Yeah, so it's just like I really do like the relationship between like him and the kid. The bad Santa and the kid. and just like their banter is like the best in the whole movie in general. And I like how he stood up. He stood up for the kid basically. He helped like defeat the little kids. Like he actually like the kids that was bullying him, and he just beat the crap out of them. You know, because it's in character for him to do that. It's not good objectively, but you know, I really like that he, you know, he actually cares for the kid. He actually it kind of, you know, his antics kind of grew on him. Like in general, he started to like the kid over the course of the movie. Um, I also like Bernie Mac in this movie. Obviously, you know, I think he was really good, and I don't remember his character's name is, but I think it was kind of a weird name. But yeah, you know, he played his part. You know, he was kind of like the stern, kind of like uh, I guess you can say like a calm type, and he was kind of, you know, he wanted like 50% of their deal because you know he found out what they were doing. I kind of forget how exactly. It was kind of a strange part of it, but you know, obviously he was kind of a familiar face. He was the only one I actually recognized from this movie, so that was interesting. I also don't like how the midget dude just kind of escaped after you know he tried to kill Bad Santa. It kind of sucks because you know apparently I saw that they made a second one. And I'm probably gonna watch that soon at some point. I don't know if I'm gonna review it, but you know, uh, I saw him on the cover, so it's just like I don't know if he survived and they're gonna do another heist together. But it's just kind of weird that he just like you know happens to just be around still. Bad Santa also is kind of strange because it's like he was a part of their little heist, and apparently he didn't go to jail in the end. Like at the end of the movie, he's just in the hospital, and because he made the notes, he's not being charged for anything. That's kind of strange, just because he was in general like trying to help them rob the place. Um, I don't know. And that's why I kind of gave it a seven. It's like there's certain things I don't quite understand about the film, where it's trying to go with that. Obviously, he tried to you know let him go off like scot free and stuff like that, you know, without any consequences, which kind of sucks. Like I wish you know at least maybe I had to do a little jail time, you know, like he told the kid I had to go to jail for a little bit, but I'll be back, you know, to hang out, you know, take care of you, stuff like that, or make sure you're all right, you know, stuff like that. This movie feels very like ghetto. You know what I mean? It just feels like very like every character just feels strange. Like I know it's a comedy, but in general, it's just like it's just like every character has some sort of like quirk to them, and it's just like interesting. Like even the woman that he was with, that like Santa Claus, like when she was younger and stuff like that. It's just like, you know, she has her own little quirk. She's like kind of like the cool and like normal one in a way. Like she compared to like Bad Santa is like a normal person. I guess to a certain extent, she's somewhat normal. Um, so yeah, overall, I like the film. I like the heist aspect. You know, because again, you know, Bad Santa stuff like that. So yeah, 7 out of 10. Cool, nice.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Overall, I really like this movie. I think it's a really good Christmas movie in terms of like just having the younger cast and the older cast, just like you know, both have you know their respective scenes in this movie. Obviously, I just like the idea of Neil Patrick Harris being in a movie, you know, telling this story about how he, you know, it's basically the adventures of Neil Patrick Harris and then the Nintendo. It's like it's funny as hell in concept, really, and I really like how it was implemented. In terms of like the execution, I don't like it all the way because I think a lot of this movie is very goofy, especially like with the throw up scene, where they're at the school bus and stuff like that. I think that was kind of strange, but overall, I just like the idea of this young kid, you know, his friends trying to get this Nintendo and just try to go out there and just go on this huge adventure, trying to get money for it, try to distract their parents. Obviously, their parents really didn't want them to have this Nintendo in general, especially the dad, who's in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies, and I really like him in those too as well. He's a really good actor. Yeah, really good actor in general, and I really like. I know he's in some other stuff as well, but can't quite put my finger on it. But yeah, really good actor. And yeah, like also like Neil Patrick Harris from like that old like Spider-Man cartoon. So yeah, I've seen him around. You know, he's been like doing acting and like voice acting and stuff like that for a while. So yeah, I think the cast is really good. I also like that bully character who's kind of like one of their friends as well. No, not really. It's the tall like dude with the black hair, the long hair, the fat dude. I like this character because I don't remember like anyone's names. I gotta be honest. Um, but yeah, he was kind of annoying, but he played his part, and he also helped the main character get his like redemption. Yeah, I guess you could say redemption arc in terms of him uh starting to feel confident about himself and starting to stand up for himself. Um, so yeah, it's not really redemption. That's not the word I'll use. But yeah, overall, I just like his arc in this movie, and I like how he doesn't actually get what he wants in the end until he has to work for it, basically. And with a lot of these different types of like stories like this, you don't usually see that, and I really like that. Overall, it was kind of goofy and inconsistent at times, but I give it like a 7 out of 10, a solid 7 or 7.5. It's pretty good. Pretty good movie, I'll say. So yeah, I recommend it.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe.
Honestly, I think this Iron Man movie is really bad. I think it's the worst of the trilogy. This is probably one of the worst Marvel movies in general. Many people have said this, but really, I wanted to rewatch this for Christmas and just, because I remember seeing parts of it, especially like the final battle between Killian and Tony, but I don't remember the whole movie. Now I've seen it, and it's wow, it's really bad. Like, it's just as bad as I would have remembered. Like, honestly, hearing people talk about this movie, it's like, oh, it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, the worst in the MCU. I'm just like, it can't be that bad, right? It must be at least be decent. No, this is garbage. Like, Tony's a terrible person in this. He literally like gets his whole house blown up because of his ego, and then the Mandarin actually goes after him, and it's just like. And then he's gonna have like paparazzi and stuff like that after him as well. People trying to catch some pictures and stuff like that. And it's just like it's crazy to me. Like he's really that stupid. And then he gets Pepper involved. He gets that one kid involved. He gets Rhodes involved, like Rhodey. It's just like, and he gets Happy almost killed because of his dumb crap. Now you could say Happy was just in the right place or wrong place, wrong time kind of thing, and then he got injured, which I didn't think he would get injured that badly. I don't remember that from this film, but apparently he did, and he was out the whole movie, which, I mean, good because he didn't have to witness the bullcrap that Tony was doing this entire movie. That's great. Yeah, but I didn't expect that. Rhodey also wasn't in this movie that much, but he was very relevant. Towards like the third act, which was really really bad as well. But yeah, he did his thing in this movie. I'll give him that. I just wish he actually got an Iron Man suit during it, or at least like a War Machine suit. Like I would have liked it so that Rhodey could at least like I don't know, maybe he could have given him some sort of like remote control like gauntlet. Like and given it to Rhodey so that he could use one of the suits. I don't know, because he was like. He wasn't even useless. Like Rhodey is a good character in this, but still, it's just like that was frustrating. And then you had the whole thing with like Killian and stuff like that. I guess I'll just jump right into that. He's basically Syndrome, to be honest. Like it's just bootleg Syndrome, just done worse. It's ridiculous. And they copy it like almost like exactly how they do it in The Incredibles. It's like he starts off like let me just break it down. It's like at first he starts off as like this nerdy, just like weird, kid. Well, he's not really a kid. He's like still a grown man, but like, this weird person. And then he gets disrespected by the main character, and then he just goes on this huge he just starts getting really angry, and then he goes on this revenge quest, basically. And then later on in the movie, he actually meets the main character, and they have a little monologue. And he literally in Incredibles, they were making fun of these monologues, and they do it in this movie. It's ridiculous. Like they did not learn. Oh my god, this is stupid. This movie is really stupid. I think the whole idea behind the powers of the extremists, however they want to pronounce it, is interesting. I don't think it was fleshed out enough. So I don't really care about it. It's just basically fire powers, or lava powers, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think it's interesting, but it kind of reminds me of the Amazing Spider-Man, how the Lizard basically, like Kurt Connors, right, or Dr. Connors, or whatever you want to call him, he essentially wanted the same thing. He wanted some sort of like his invention, his science invention. He actually got it from someone else. He got it from Peter, the main character. But he wanted to use that to regrow his arm, which is actually some of the motivations of some of the characters in this movie, especially like the president's Well, no, no, no. The president wasn't necessarily that wasn't his motivation, but technically, the president's daughter also had a lost limb, um, and I think some other characters as well, some other like civilians and stuff. So it kind of reminded me of that of the Amazing Spider-Man one. Overall, this movie is really bad. It basically destroys every single character, except Rhodey. Pepper's pretty good, and Happy necessarily. He's not destroyed technically. He's not in the film really. So yeah, like 3 out of 10. Uh, yeah, this is terrible. Worst Iron Man movie. One of the worst MCU movies. My God.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Alright, so this is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Now, I think this movie in general is really good. Obviously, I love the Harry Potter franchise in general, and I think this one is a really good start. It has all the things you would want from a franchise starting up. Other franchises kind of fail to do what this movie did in general, and it's like it really get you immersed in the world, and just like it's a magical world too. So it's not just like the the real world, and just like how, you know. Like for example, slice of life for like animes can be very boring, and that is based in the real world. Well, a lot of the time, like they have real world elements that are just kind of like plastered throughout the series, like going to the movies or hanging out with a friend, hanging out with a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever, and it's just kind of basic stuff. This has that, but it also has the magical elements, educational elements of like teaching you about different powers, like with the spells and the wands, stuff you could do without the wands. It just has a very like it has a lot of stuff in here, honestly. Magical like items in terms of like invisibility cloaks. It teaches. It kind of feels like a school as well. It really does feel like a real life school of magic. Like this could actually exist. And I just like Harry as a character. Obviously, he's my favorite in the whole series. I'm a stickler for main characters in general. Um, Honestly, it's just like I really like the villain as well. Like Voldemort is a really good villain, and how they just like have this ominous like he has this ominous music and this ominous presence when you see him on screen, and I just love that. In general, I love Hagrid in this movie as well. I'm kind of like going all over the place because I love this franchise and I already know a lot about it. I've already seen these movies 1,000 times, so I'm just kind of stating what I already know about it. Um, After seeing them so much, in general, I just really like. I like everything about it, honestly. Every side character, every main character. I like Hermione especially. Hermione is like one of my favorite in this franchise. She's very smart, very cunning, when she needs to be, and even like how she paralyzed Neville, with the spell. Obviously, he's not gonna die or anything like that. It's just like kind of it was like a funny moment and stuff like that, and yeah, it just shows like how smart and just like powerful she can be. I also like Ron too. Ron is very slept on. I think Ron brings a lot of heart to the series, and he like even if he doesn't like it, he isn't the most powerful. He really does like show you just how dedicated he is like as a friend in general, and just like he really lightens the mood a lot. Like a lot of dark elements are part of this series. A lot of people die. I think someone dies basically every single movie. I gotta think about that, or at least it's introduced in the plot. But yeah, like, in general, I really like this series. It has a lot of fun elements, a lot of like more serious elements, and it just meshes them together really well. I give this movie probably like an 8 or a 9. It's fantastic. So yeah, now for the 25th.
Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Christmas. All right, so I'm actually filming this on Christmas Day. It's about like 6 o'clock, and yeah. So this is the end of my little like Christmas. I don't even know, like marathon, I guess you can call it. And this is Die Hard. Now, actually, I was making a joke about it earlier. In this like video where I actually watched Love Hard. A garbage movie, and they actually mentioned Die Hard. I was like, oh, is it a Christmas movie? And actually, I will safely say. Technically it is. It does mention Christmas a lot. It is kind of one of the main themes of like, I guess, uh, hope. I guess you can call it. Even one of the main characters, which is the cop, the African American cop, he actually believed in the main character John because he wasn't sure if John actually was a cop or not. So he kind of had to believe in him in order to save everyone, and he actually helped out a lot throughout the whole movie because obviously, freaking main character. And the side character, the black cop, he actually he killed one of the terrorists at the end of the movie, which was really good. And it kind of just showed like even he had a stake in the matter. He actually helped out in the end, kind of thing. And honestly, I really like the story of John and just him, with his wife and stuff like that. How he had issues with her, and she moved out to Japan and stuff like that. It was a very interesting story. I wouldn't have expected it to go this far and to have all this backstory and stuff like that. And I really like how they made up in the end, even after he was being a dick to her, and she was kind of distant. But at least she tried overall, and then he definitely being an asshole. But he made up for it by saving her and saving everyone else, and it's just a classic action movie, and I really enjoyed it. Honestly, this is like damn near perfect. I'll say the main villain also is played by Alan Rickman, I think it is. He was in Harry Potter, and Harry Potter is like really good. Uh, I also, reviewed Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone, obviously, as you've already seen. So, like, I really enjoyed those movies, and I really enjoy him as like an actor. And I actually was surprised that he was in this, honestly. Honestly, this is like the best Christmas movie I've ever seen. Like honestly, on this list, it's probably the best. Obviously, like next to like Harry Potter, I like the first movie. But honestly, this is a very enjoyable, well put together film. And it's just like, even like stuff like Noel or like I might even say Elf, to be honest. I really like Elf, but like I think this actually might be better objectively as like a film. As a Christmas movie, obviously Elf just like obliterates this. It's like Christmas is in it, but it's like it's not like the main theme. Obviously, this has like a lot of blood, some cursing in it. Like it's more of like a serious movie, but in general, as a movie, 9 out of 10. I'm not even joking. It's a good classic. I recommend it. Yeah, very impactful, very surprising, just like good action in general. Yeah. So, I guess this is the end of this little series, I guess. Huh. This is 25 movies, and this is the 25th. And we're ending it off on a banger. This is really good. A solid 9 out of 10. A lot of these movies I gave some ones, some 1 out of 10s, some 3s, some 4s, some sevens and stuff. But I'm really happy that we sat here as a group, as a family, and just kind of watch all these movies. At some point, just we're able to look at it now and just be very happy with them. So yeah, I'm very happy with everything that I've seen so far. And honestly, it's like I would have never expected for a lot of these movies to even be good to begin with. But honestly, I'm just glad, like, because I probably would have never watched like Die Hard to begin with, like on a regular day. Maybe if like I don't know. It depends. But I definitely wouldn't watch Noel. I wouldn't watch like some other movies like The Grinch. I just wouldn't. But I'm really glad I did this little, I guess, challenge, or this little fun video, which I wanted to do for myself, but also for the viewers and stuff like that, just to add, I guess, my longest video ever to my list of YouTube videos. So yeah, yeah.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Also, this is something I forgot to put in the video. Before I actually talk about the Hawkeye show, which I actually wanted to add to this video, I have to talk about Yelena, which I forgot to talk about in the other clip, which we're about to see after this. No, essentially, Yelena was kind of like just shoehorned into the show. I feel like she didn't need to be in it, and that's why I just like I kind of forgot about her completely. But yeah, she had I guess a okay role in it at the end, where her and Clint basically they had to like make up for their the fact that Natasha died, so they had to like mourn and like stuff like that. But I don't like that not Natasha, Yelena even believed that Clint, like Clint Barton, would kill Natasha, even though they were friends, and no one told her that. It's like they're both Avengers, like very well-known Avengers. Why would he just kill her out of nowhere? No one talks about it. No one knows about it. And multiple things, like everyone knows what happened in Endgame. Iron Man died. Natasha died. Everyone knows about that as well. And that's why they have the memorials for all the Avengers that did die. And it's just like she's the only one who doesn't know. It's like, in on, it feels like she's the only one who doesn't know in the world, or something like that. Because like other people, like they're not questioning this. They're not like coming after Clint Barton. It's just like I don't understand. Like this is stupid. But yeah, that I just wanted to mention her character. I don't like her character in this. I mean, she's kind of entertaining overall, but like, I feel like that's more on the actress's part and how she plays the role, which, she does very well. Honestly, she kills it when it comes to like the entertainment factor. But the actual character, I don't like. It's not good. In Black Widow, she was kind of okay as well in terms of the entertainment factor. But again, the plot was all over the place. It wasn't good either. Even for Natasha, like that whole Black Widow movie was just bad. Like you added this whole family that we're just finding out just now about. And it's just like I don't know. But like overall, yeah, I don't like her character. I don't like how she was just shoehorned in. She should have never been in it. I think Hawkeye and Haley's like relationship, or not Haley, fuck. Um, Kate's Kate Bishop and Clinton Barton's relationship in this show, and how they just have their witty banter and all that other stuff, is more entertaining than seeing Yelena in this at all. So yeah. Now I'm just gonna move on to the other clip, and you guys get to watch that. Okay? Peace. Now, I know it might be quite strange that I'm adding this one at the end, but, I really actually genuinely like Hawkeye as a series. I think it has a couple of problems, especially just like the idea behind Kingpin and just how he's implemented in this series. I feel like the MCU is kind of weird right now with the Phase 4, and I think it's the worst phase thus far. But, I think this series is actually somewhat of a shining light in it, in terms of like what it could be. I actually like the dynamic between like Haley Steinfeld and what is his name? The actor who plays Hawkeye, right? I'm just like shooting on a blank here. But yeah, I really like Hawkeye and Kate Bishop, and just like their dynamic and stuff like that. I think it's kind of like a father and daughter kind of dynamic in a way. Like he kind of treats her that way, but like or you could see it that way, but like because like he's more of the mature one, and she's kind of like immature, and she's a bit younger. She's kind of the rich kid, and she doesn't really know what she's doing. And he's more of the experienced, like veteran of this stuff. Yeah, so like he is kind of on point with everything he's doing, and trying to show her the ropes and stuff, so he can actually finally retire and go to his family and stuff like that. And I just really like that concept, and I like how it's implemented into the series. And I like how this is the series after Endgame, so it's like you get to see just like how like I don't want to say broken he is. Actually, yeah, I would say that how broken he is after seeing Natasha die, and then he loses his hearing. I can't speak today. His hearing after just being in all those battles. The Battle of New York and like Endgame and stuff like that, and just like all those fights just destroyed him. Piece by piece, to the point where he's kind of like he's kind of a shell of his former self to a certain extent. He's not fully broken. Obviously, he's still with his family. He's still, doing his thing. But it's like he's not quite himself. And then, Kate actually helps him get back to the point where he can kind of, he can just get back to his family and kind of like live his life again. Because he always wanted to just, settle down, just relax, and, stop with the hero business. But now he actually gets to do that because, Kate is actually going to take up the mantle and, take some responsibility for some of her actions and, try her best. So, yeah, overall, I really like this show. It's kind of a little bit different from, the other stuff I've reviewed. And I really like doing this series in general. So, yeah. Also, if I had to mention other characters like the mom, like Kate's mom, I think she was fine overall. Her like reveal was kind of like predictable, but overall it did what it was supposed to. So I'm just like I'm not too mad about it. What is it called? The whole idea behind like the Ronin sword and the suit was a good like I guess representation for like just I don't want to say evil, but like just the resentment, like revenge, and just like negativity that would corrupt both. That could corrupt both characters. Like you see Kate wear it at first, and you just see like the history behind it because of what Clint Barton, did with it when the snap happened. And it's just like, it's interesting that is actually what brought him to her, just like his negative past and stuff like that, and all the people he killed and stuff like that, which were bad people. So I kind of, it's kind of justified at the end of the day, but it's still bad because he actually killed Echo's father and stuff like that. Which also, like, I kind of feel bad for Echo. I kind of don't care that much about Echo though. At the same time, it's like I understand it on like a I guess technical sense, objective sense. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. But like subjectively, I'm not really into her character all that much. I know she's gonna get a TV show, so I might review that as well because it's part of like Phase 5, I guess they're calling it now. Because I'm pretty sure Wakanda Forever was the last part of Phase 4, but I could be wrong. Who knows? But yeah, overall, it's like, I would say the side characters, they did their thing. I'm trying to think of who else. Oh yeah, I think his name is Bob or Rob or it's the Kate's mom's boyfriend, basically. I think he was okay. He was kind of goofy overall, and he just wasn't all that entertaining. But yeah, at least he like wasn't actually the villain. Like, he was kind of a red herring, and it would be kind of lame if he was actually the villain, because like, it would be predictable as hell, boring. And I doubt he would have really like a fleshed out like backstory or anything like that. So yeah, yeah, it's a good series to say it's 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed this whole segment of my channel in general, just making this video, in general. So yeah, just like comment, subscribe, like, let me know if you want to see more stuff like this. Really. Like, I really enjoyed making this video. It's a very longest video I've actually ever made, in terms, besides like streams from like other channels and stuff like that, that's like well edited, to a certain extent, I guess. Subjective, but like in general, I'm glad y'all was here to watch the whole thing. Comment, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys later. Peace. Also, let me know if you want me to make longer videos in the future. Peace.
Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe.